John Farrell with the Farrell Law Firm. Today we're going to talk about stopping the land trust madness. But first, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We put out new videos almost every day. And make sure you hit the like button because, hey, every like helps. John Farrell with the Farrell Law Firm. To tell you a little bit about myself, I'm the author of Estate Planning for the Modern Family and was recently voted one of the top 3 lawyers here in Cobb County, Georgia, along with the law firm being voted one of the top 3 law firms here in Cobb County, Georgia. Today, we're going to talk about stopping the land trust madness. From time to time, people will call the office saying they want to set up a land trust. When I get that call, I know the person must have been watching some YouTube videos about land trusts because land trust isn't a term we in the industry generally use here in Georgia. After watching a few of the videos out there about land trusts, I realized it's time to dispel some of the myths associated with land trusts and why they are generally not used. Myth number 1, land trusts offer anonymity. This is a myth because land trusts only offer after the fact anonymity. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, some of you may know that when I was a younger lawyer, I used to work for banks, and the biggest part of my job was to find people's assets. People would try all kinds of things to try and hide their assets, and I've seen them all. It really wasn't that difficult for me to find their assets, and this will show you why land trusts really don't help you with anonymity. So let's say you have 10 rental properties, and all of these rental properties are in your name. First of all, that's a terrible mistake, but now you realize you want some anonymity, so you decide to develop 10 land trusts and put these individual properties into a single land trust for each property. The thinking is, if someone decides to go to the real estate records and they search your name, they won't find any properties in your name because they've all been transferred to a land trust. Well, that's just wrong. There will be a deed that shows the property going from your name to not the trust name, but a trustee's name. In most states, you can't transfer property to a trust. You can only transfer property to the trustee of the trust. So there will be some individual or company that now owns the property as trustee of a land trust. Do you think that your name will now not show up in the records? It will. I would be able to see that you transferred 10 properties to other people. Is it because you're generous and you just want to give your assets away? Well, of course not. Additionally, the tax records will show you didn't receive any financial gain from this transfer. So how difficult will it be for me or the average lawyer to see that you're trying to hide your assets? Not difficult at all. It's all online. So what is after the fact anonymity? It means that I will have to find a connection between you and the now owner of the property, but it wouldn't be difficult for me to discover that connection. Like any average lawyer, if my slip and fall client sued the trustee, I can easily find out how you know the trustee. The better approach is to lean into it, not shy away from it, and I'll show you how later. Myth number 2, land trusts offer asset protection. This is a myth because land trusts in and of themselves do not offer asset protection. Some people think that putting real estate into a land trust will keep them from being sued. Not really. The thinking goes like this. If I have a land trust and I put my rental property into that land trust, then if someone slips and falls, I won't get sued. But if you think through this, you'll see why the land trust doesn't offer asset protection in that way. If you have 10 rental properties and all of those rental properties are in your individual name and someone slips and falls at one of them, you'll probably be sued whether you have 1 rental property or 100 rental properties in your own name. It's not that the injured person looks and sees there are more assets to be had, so I better sue. No, the injured person thinks I've been injured because of some purported negligence of the homeowner, so I'm going to sue. Now I get it. The injured person, if they see you have a lot of assets, may think there's a better chance of getting a higher recovery because the homeowner is rich. Then maybe that will make someone more litigious. But, by the way, if you have 1 rental property in your name, you're doing it wrong. If you have 100 rental properties in your name, then go back to grade school because you have bigger problems. So the land trust in and of itself does not keep someone from suing you. There are better ways to title the property if you're looking for asset protection than using a land trust. Myth number 3, the trustee of the land trust is passive. There's this idea out there that there are 3 parties to a land trust: the grantor, the trustee, and the beneficiary. In all the videos I've seen, the creators talk about how the trustee is generally passive and it's the beneficiary who manages and administers the trust. They've got this backwards. It's the trustee who has a fiduciary responsibility to administer the terms of the trust in good faith. It's the beneficiary who is usually passive. Because the trustee has a fiduciary responsibility, they have a higher standard of care and are held accountable. This idea that the trustee is passive is just a myth. If you think that's not true, go look up OCGA 53-12-240. By the way, this is just assuming you don't have a mortgage on the property. Most real estate investors I know buy real estate in their own name using a mortgage to get started. Transferring this property into a land trust that has some random person as a trustee could trigger the due on sale clause. Are you ready to pay off the mortgage by transferring the property into a land trust? You're really just banking that the bank isn't going to find out, but I wouldn't bet my real estate on it. They also say, well, let's set up a Wyoming LLC as the trustee because you can have some anonymity there. Again, this is assuming you don't have a mortgage on the property. By the way, do you see how many moving parts there are to these land trusts? All of these expenses are adding up and cutting into your real estate investment. Lean into real estate investing. Don't shy away from it. Those are just some of the myths associated with land trusts. There really are better ways to manage your real estate investments, and land trusts just aren't it. Instead of shying away from being a real estate investor, lean into it. Take the approach, yeah, I'm a real estate investor and I've structured my investments the right way. So if you want to sue, just realize you're going to be limited in your recovery if you get a recovery at all. Lean into it. You do this with asset protection options. In future videos, I'll talk about what those asset protection options are. Then I'll have a video where I talk about how to take these asset protection options and incorporate them into your real estate investing without breaking the bank with a land trust. That's really all we have to talk about today. If you watched our videos for any amount of time, then you know what we do is we help people plan their estates. To do that, we've created a book called Estate Planning for the Modern Family. You're going to want to get a copy of this book, so I'm putting a link in the description below so you can order it online. It will tell you all about wills, trusts, powers of attorney, and the probate process. It also comes with a bonus. The bonus is if you have trouble sleeping at night, you can read it and it will get you right to sleep, so make sure you read it in the morning. If you want to learn a little bit more about the firm or maybe schedule a free consultation for yourself, give us a call at 678-809-4922. That's 678-809-4922. I'm also putting a link in the description below so you can reach out to us to schedule that free consultation. Alright, that's all we have for today. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because we put out new videos almost every day, and make sure you hit the like button because, hey, every like helps.